Alright guys, so really quickly, I don't want to take too much of your time, but it is towards the end of the year now and everybody's talking about the best games of the year, my favorite game. So I thought, what, let me do this. I've always loved kind of doing this towards the end of the year. We've had the channel for 5 years now, and every year we kind of talk a little bit about it, but I will say, and in all honesty, this is usually my worst performing type of video throughout the year. Every time I do it, nobody seems to really give a shit. Nobody seems to care, because maybe one of those reasons is because everybody kind of has the same game of the year for the most part. It's never like, oh, wow, that made it into your list. I wasn't expecting that. Of course you were, because everybody's putting that damn game in their list. But to keep it a little bit shorter, keep it a little bit more brief, I'm only going to choose 3. So these are basically my top 3 favorite best games of 2025. It's hard when you play a lot of games. It's hard when you spend a lot of time doing video game conversations and talk to only choose 3. But to be honest, I don't know that any of these 3 are going to be any big surprises. We're going to go from worst to best, basically. So at number 3, we have Ghost of Yote. And I know this one's crazy. It's wild. Like, what the fuck do you mean Ghost of Yote? But I really loved Ghost of Yote. I felt like it was an improvement on really just about everything that Ghost of Tsushima did the very first time around. And I even like the main character. Jin Sakai is a beast. Jin Sakai is always, he's the first shinobi, like they established in the world of the Ghost. He's a savage, and I really loved exploring his life and the conflicts that he went through. But Atsu was a really good character. Atsu was a character that I personally enjoyed. I personally enjoyed the world. I enjoyed the performance of Jubei, and the relationship between Atsu and Jubei was awesome. It was wholesome, and I enjoyed them growing as siblings and, finding each other again after so many years. I thought the world and the environment of Ghost of Yote was fantastic. And one of the things that I really, really loved was the villains and the music. The soundtrack was fantastic. And I am a sucker for a soundtrack. When you have really good music in a video game, or when the score of that particular game is just on point and on fire all the time, then it makes the game even better. I mean, I think of The Last of Us, I think of The Witcher, I think of, Cyberpunk. Like, so many good games have fantastic music, and Ghost of Yote's score is phenomenal. I mean, the way it builds the tension, the way that it tried to do certain things in the cinematic style, the cinematic art of the game, I really, really loved that. I loved that it felt like a movie almost, because of the way that the game was shot. And I also played the game in Japanese from beginning to end. I never switched to English. And to be honest, I felt more immersed in the world. I felt like it was more true. I felt like it felt more real. Even though I was reading subtitles left and right, after like the first 2 hours, I honestly didn't even think about the subtitles. I was just going with it. It's funny how quickly your mind can shift and switch and be like, oh, okay, and you're fine. I had no problem whatsoever playing the entire game in Japanese. I thought the performance of Atsu, and I'm not taking the dig at any fucking body, but I heard bits and parts of it in English, like Atsu's main voice actress talking in character as Atsu. And in English, I honestly thought it was weak. I thought it wasn't as good. I thought it was, I'm not gonna say a bad performance, but it was a much weaker performance. And when the voice actress in Japanese was delivering her lines, it was on point. It was fantastic. It had passion. It was sad or angry or empathy. It was, you could tell. And I don't know, it feels to me like there was levels to it, and the Japanese actors absolutely crushed it. And everyone in the Japanese version of the game hit the nail on the head. It was beautiful. I'm talking beautiful. Even the villains, the way they spoke, it was just like so menacing, I really had a good time with that. And Ghost of Yote is definitely one of my favorite games of the year. I honestly thought if it wouldn't have been for Expedition 33, I thought that one, at the time that I was playing it, I'm like, this is my game of the year. This is the best game that I fucking played all year. And so that's how I was feeling, because it was so damn good.
お前の人生をまず知ろうともせずに俺の道理を押し付けてしまった。
いいんだ。俺の方こそ一人でいることに慣れすぎた。
鬼を倒そう。俺とお前で。
All right, so for number 2, this is really, really hard, all right, because I have to decide between one or the other, and I'm doing this cold turkey. by the way. I don't have any notes. I'm not like, oh, I know. No, I was like, I kind of know which ones are my game of the year. And my mind says one thing and my heart says another. So I'm going to listen to my heart. Although the heart is very, it's a liar. And if you know where that comes from, then you know. But it can be tricky. It can trick you. So I will go with my heart today, and I'm going to put Dispatch. Dumbass. I'm going to put Clair Obscur Expedition 33 as the second best game of the year for me. Now, I will preface this by saying that the Game Awards, I thought, hit the nail on the head with Expedition 33 winning Game of the Year and winning so many awards. It was a beautiful game, one of the best games that I have played in years, and it is going to stand the test of time. It is going to be a game that we talk about over and over and over again. What they did was fantastic. So, yeah, 100%. My second favorite game of the year is going to be Expedition 33. I just want to say thank you for watching these videos. Thank you for supporting me. And I want to ask that you please consider hitting the subscribe button. If you love what I do here, gaming discussion, gaming news, gaming lore, story deep dives, Call of Duty, Dispatch, all that stuff. If you really enjoy it and you haven't subscribed yet, please, again, I would ask that you consider to subscribe because we have a goal to hit 30,000 subscribers before we bring in the new year. That gives us a little short window to try to hit that. I know with your help we can get there, and it would mean a lot to me. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. I thought the performance of Charlie Cox was fantastic. I really got into Daredevil this year, and I started Daredevil this year and started watching the show. I've always been a fan of Daredevil comics appearing in video games. I've always been a huge fan of Daredevil, and I just never really saw Charlie Cox as Daredevil. I never really liked the casting too much, but I said, you know what, let me give it a try, and I finally watched it, and I thought he was phenomenal, and I ate my words. And so seeing Charlie Cox over and over and over again on Expedition 33 and how people were praising his performance of one of the best performances ever, I was like, man, come on. And I saw the game, and I thought it looks really good, but I don't know if I could play it. And then I saw that it was turn-based, and I was like, you know what, I hate those types of games, and I don't hate them, but I've never been good at them. I've never been good at them. I get frustrated easy. It's just not a game for me, and I know when a game is not for me, but I am a sucker for a good ass motherfucking story. And so I gave it a try. I said, you know what, whatever, I'll try it out. And I tried it months after it had released. And I played it, and I thought it was brilliant. I mean, the story itself was gorgeous. The narrative was so good. It was so mysterious, so many things going on. I wanted to know more. The lore of the story was so deep and rich. Who are the painters? Who are the writers? What's going on? Why does that girl look like Mael? I mean, who's Renoir? There was so many good things about Expedition 33. The game itself was amazing. The art, the way the world looked, fantastic, unique, beautiful. The way the characters kind of looked and the way they spoke was very good. It looked like the lore in the world was so big and so intense, and this world was so much bigger than them that you believed everything they were saying. I really love that. And don't even get me started on the main theme, on the music. It gives me goosebumps to listen to that. That is one of the best scores of all time in any media. It is fantastic. That shit hits every time, boy. Like, I mean, it is fire, man. I absolutely fucking love that shit. So, yeah, I don't know, man. It introduced me into the turn-based combat, and then I know so many people are going to say, well, that's not true turn-based. True turn-based is this, and that. All I know is it introduced me to that type of game mechanic. Never really played it before. I had a good time. I enjoyed it. I love the characters. I love the world. I love the art. I love the music. I loved everything about that game. I mean, it was a 10 out of 10 spectacular in every aspect of the word.
For those who come after. Right?
You promised!
I know that if I wouldn't have played the number one game that I'm about to say now, I would have put Expedition 33. Now, whether Expedition 33 is better than this one or not in terms of just overall, it's not really what I'm trying to say here, actually. What I'm trying to say is my favorite games of the year. And I guess you can translate that into the best games of the year for me. And Dispatch is my number one. And it had to be Dispatch. It had to be Dispatch for a few reasons. As much as I love Expedition 33, cannot stop thinking about Dispatch. I am a sucker for episodic games. I love my all-time favorite episodic game of all time is The Wolf Among Us. And I have missed that vibe. I have missed Bigby. I have missed Snow White. I have missed the world that they created. And playing a game like an episodic story where I can make choices and whether they affect the big picture or not, I don't know. I get certain reactions. I get certain endings. I love those types of games. I love The Walking Dead. I love Batman. And we had been missing Telltale for a long, long time. They came back with The Expanse and I played that one. I enjoyed it, but it didn't like take me into the world and make me fall in love with everything about it. Dispatch did. Dispatch came out of nowhere for me. I had no indication that it was coming out. I wasn't paying attention to the lead up. And honestly, to me, it feels like Dispatch revived a genre that was dying, a genre that was almost forgotten, the episodic genre, or in the weekly release of episodes or episodes being released in bits. So you don't get the full game on release. You get little bits and parts. And so it revived that genre. It completely took the gaming industry by storm. The narrative was fantastic. It was well written. And it has the argument to be the best episodic game of all time. It has set a standard now. We're going to dive a little bit into that in another video that I'm working on, but it does feel like it's set a new standard for what an episodic game can be. It came at a time where I think it was needed. It came at a time where I think if it didn't do well, then the episodic genre could have been even more dead in the water. But now it has created something fantastic, and Adhoc has created a competition to Telltale, and now they have to really bring it up if they want to survive. I mean, what they did here is amazing. And not only that, the characters that they introduced are fantastic. And I'm specifically talking about Robert Robertson III and Mandy, aka Blonde Blazer. Their relationship, the way they were written, the way they were presented was phenomenal. Blonde Blazer easily and quickly became one of my favorite characters of all time. I just love being in her presence. I love being around her. I love speaking to her. I love to see what she has to say. I love to see what comes next. I mean, you infatuate yourself with these characters and this world. I love the world of Dispatch, and I want to know more. I want to know what other superheroes they are. I want to know more about Phenomenon Man's planet. I want to know about more heroes coming out from different planets. I want to know why Blazer has these powers. I want to know her origin. I want to know more about the Z Team. I want to know more about Robert. I want to know more about his history and more about maybe his dad and his granddad, and talk more about his mother and talk more about Chase. I want to know more about all of these characters. I mean, Dispatch was a game that hit me right when I needed it to hit me. It came at a time where I needed it to come. It was a happy, good game in a year for me that was very, very hard in terms of a personal life. It brought a lot of happiness, and being in that world, in that environment, I couldn't get enough of it. I wanted more. I mean, if anything, I wish the freaking game was 12 episodes long. It was just, I needed more Dispatch, and it now has introduced me to a new world that I can continue to love, continue to play, continue to talk about for years and years and years to come. This is going to be, when it's all said and done, one of my favorite games of my life. It really is going to be. There's a few games that you have that you play in your life and you're like, oh yeah, that's staying with me forever. Red Dead Redemption 2, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, The Last of Us Part 1. And Dispatch is now there. That is a fantastic achievement. Can't stop thinking about it. It's just simple and easy. So yeah, I mean, I would go on and on and on and on, but you guys know how I feel about that.
You saved me. Again.
Yeah. You should really sign up for this SDN service I keep hearing about. Don't worry. I've got you.
Best games of the year for me. At number 1, we have Dispatch. At number 2, we have Expedition 33. And at number 3, we have Ghost of Yote. What are your 3 favorite games of 2025? And why did you like them so much?